Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today is a bit of a strange one. We are soon going to be having another game from another company appear on our Blizzard launcher. So I went home tomorrow and I was kind of interested to see what Bungie would do with Destiny 2, but I did not anticipate it being, something relevant to my YouTube channel or any of that stuff. But what's actually happened is also pretty important and relevant to the wider industry at a time where people are beginning to realize that Steam having a bit of a market monopoly is probably not the best thing in the long run. So Destiny 2 is unsurprisingly the sequel to Destiny. Some of you may care, some of you may not. Destiny for me was very much a 7 out of 10, it was pretty mediocre. To Bungie's credit, it seems like they really did patch it up pretty well, and they added great stuff with the Taken King expansion, even though, to be honest, when I saw the pricing, I thought it was a little bit steep for what was going on there, but still, a lot of people seem to have enjoyed it, including many of the World of Warcraft devs who, for a while, were just constantly tweeting about it. But here's the big news.
So I'm excited to announce that Destiny 2 will be available for PC exclusively through BattleNet.
Now, this means that it cannot be purchased on Steam or any of the similar services like that. What is interesting about this from an industry perspective, though, is that Activision Blizzard Activision Publishing really, does not have an online storefront. Games like Call of Duty are, of course, released on Steam. EA have Origin, Ubisoft have the dreaded Uplay, which sometimes, you're almost forced to use, and then Steam kind of hoovers up the rest. Now, of course, Steam, it's around for the longest. Most people have a massive library of games over there. And, many indie games as well. They just sort of by default release in Steam and Humble Bundles and stuff like that. They always load you up with loads of Steam games. Now, Steam was around for, so long before Uplay and Origin that it managed to get a near market monopoly. Near its launch, then, many people flat out refused to purchase games through Origin due to the lack of convenience and also the terrible state that Origin launched in. Yet, as time went on, the Steam monopoly has perhaps become a little bit more worrying, and it's one of those tricky ones because right now it's a very convenient monopoly for end users on the face of it, but then the problem is, will a long-term protracted lack of competition eventually lead us, the consumers, to, getting a raw deal? Now, for the companies publishing games, the problem is really clear. They don't want to give Valve a slice of the pie. Bringing it back to the Destiny 2 situation, we're looking at a game with massive sales potential that is sold at full price. Now, Steam takes a 30% cut. Now, if you do some napkin maths there, let's just randomly say Destiny 2 is to sell 1 million copies on PC. It'll probably sell more, but at a cost of $60 each, that's like $60 million. Now, if you were heading up a company, how happy would you be with just handing over 30% of $60 million just because you're going through someone else's store? Now, of course, there are costs involved with digital distribution, but certainly not worth 30% of such a large amount of revenue. Now, it's also worth noting that Blizzard are, of course, heavily entrenched in the PC market. The core Activision properties, though, they really aren't. When we look at the key slides of their Q1 2017, or really any of their earnings reports, what you see is Activision Publishing's revenues primarily coming from Call of Duty and Destiny. Now, these days, Call of Duty's really small on PC, they kind of messed that one up, and Destiny was, of course, a console exclusive. Activision Publishing has basically no foothold in the PC market at the minute, and this is their first really major release. Now, Blizzard have it down to a fine art at this stage, all the digital distribution stuff, and while, they don't have to deal with the scale of Origin or Steam in terms of the library size, BattleNet, for me, it's always been very smooth, top-notch support as well when problems do happen. So when we look at things from a business perspective, it really does make sense. They get around the 30% Steam cut, and they get to piggyback off a really well-established platform that has already been tested against massive player numbers. I mean, come on, this is the service that coped with Overwatch's launch. So I think it's going to do Destiny just fine. Now, of course, from a player-facing angle, this is a really strange one. It's kind of merging Destiny 2 into the Blizzard family of games, and kind of into the consciousness of the people who play Blizzard games, which really is kind of, all of us, me making this and you watching this. Now, by being on Battle.net, it means that they share the same social structure that the Blizzard games do. So Destiny 2 PC players will have battle tags. We'll be able to whisper Destiny players from World of Warcraft. All of that stuff will work as if Destiny 2 was a new Blizzard title. Now, this also sort of means that whenever you make a purchase with Battle.net Balance or Blizzard Balance, whatever they call it these days, it'll work with Destiny, meaning WoW token can be used for Destiny. I guess for what, over 500,000, maybe a million gold, you'll be able to buy Destiny, which is a bit odd. This is perhaps a bit confusing, but I think the easy way to think of it is that Blizzard are handling the overall social platform and distribution that Destiny is running off, but the game servers themselves and like all the gameplay, that's being done by Bungie. Bungie are also doing the actual game like support. And Blizzard aren't doing like dev work on Destiny 2, rather the Battle.net team is helping Bungie with the project and dealing with the PC side of things. So what do I think here? Well, it seems like a very solid business decision, even if it isn't what we would have expected to hear. I imagine a lot of PC gamers though won't be happy because the convenience of buying everything on Steam is very real indeed. That said, it will be useful for the current Blizzard audience, perhaps if you already wanted to play Destiny. Now, there have been some murmurs of Call of Duty getting the same treatment. That's something that Blizzard's Q&A was quick to quash, though. They said that support was solely for Destiny 2. Now, I don't really think that Call of Duty would be a great fit for the Blizzard audience, even just in terms of a demographics perspective. But when you look at Destiny, it's a pretty good fit. It's a loot shooter. Maybe the Overwatch crowd will like it. Certainly the Diablo people will have those loot mechanics. As for myself, well, I'll be trying out the game, certainly. I played the Halo games as I was growing up, as many people my age did, so I'm always interested to see what Bungie have got on offer. Destiny 1 was fun for a little bit due to the good shooting, but I just couldn't stick with it because of the console controls, the generally terrible narrative, the lack of content, and of course the really bullet spongy enemies on the higher difficulty levels. Destiny 2 seems to have a more robust LFG-like system for some parts of content, seems to have a more polished campaign, seems like they want to do more interesting stuff with the world, but I would personally hold off for reviews. I feel the trust has to be earned back after the Destiny 1 launch. Of course, the more good games the better, so I do hope they succeed, and having a fun co-op loot shooter would probably be pretty great. So, that's my thoughts on this. Let me know what you think about Destiny 2, and there will be a straw poll down in the comments or description, whatever, just to see kind of how interested you guys are in Destiny 2 as a game. Like, do you plan on playing it? Do you plan on trying it? Something like that. I'd be kind of interested to know. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.